Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
you.
Simon. Hi, everyone. First of all, congratulations, Simon, for an outstanding event. It's great for me to be here and be able to share what we've built along the last year together with my Greek partners. I would like, before really starting to deep dive into our product, to put you in context about in which time of the real estate cycle we decided to kick off the project, and mainly how it has evolved along the last years, getting adapted to a specific target that we've got. Our founders and my experience is mainly coming from the IT world, but especially as well from the distressed management asset world, both from the non-performing loans and the real estate-owned assets that, as you all know, since 2008 in Europe boomed because of different reasons and with different intensity depending on the country. But based on our experience, and especially Spain, Italy, and Greece, in which mainly we took a real estate crisis together with a financial one, which basically generated a huge volume of NPLs to be managed from their originators, which, by the way, were not prepared to do that, and a huge flow of new, granular, sometimes creepy assets to be managed as well. So we started back in Athens, Greece, because, of course, the B2C experience in order to not only publish, but as well commercialize, sale, and finally closing granular assets were pretty difficult, not user-friendly, and competition there was mainly concentrated in the classified places that we, marketplaces that we all know. So basically, what we wanted is to offer a new and renovated experience to the buyer. We saw that normally all these big marketplaces are focused on the seller, the control over the quality of certain kind of information and pictures were not so good. So basically we decided to invest in a platform by which the look and feel, the quality of the pictures, the videos, the 360, the quality of the information was perfectly controlled by our own agents to get approach to the assets and then upload the information over there. That would, at some point in time, create a much better customer experience, ensure the quality of the lead, and finally generate a bigger and better transaction in terms of managing timing and managing as well different partners involved in the transaction. So, as I said, we started with that particular pain to be solved. Of course, when you started to see how the market grew, and for our own operations after the selling or along the journey of marketing and managing those assets, we needed to develop our own internal capabilities. Mainly there were two big layers of assets and property management, and finally a huge data warehouse in order to have everything prepared and so on. So we developed that operation system for our own commercial purposes, but bringing, as I mentioned, the experience together with how institutional investors around the world put the focus in specific European Sunbelt countries in order to buy, manage, flip, to sell, or to rent a huge volume of assets. We saw that what we created for ourselves was as well helpful for all these big fishes that were, because of opportunistic reasons, acquiring a huge volume of assets that at some point in time there were no systems available to manage it. So what we've done at the very beginning was to combine, as per our experience, a very advanced IT innovation because of verifying data to cross-selling that data, the holistic tools that we all know, but very much applied to that part of the cycle. Then with all this turmoil, we've got, of course, the pandemic. Now there's another kind of crisis, but the true regarding granular real estate assets coming from mortgages, but this applies as well to commercial, to land plots, to buildings and whatever. The big volumes from 2008 crisis are still to be managed. Some of those have just changed hands because financial institutions have cleaned their balance sheets, but at some point in time, those assets are still there. They need to be managed from a judicial point of view. They need to be tracked from an NPL point of view. They need to be put on the market with the right price, with the right capabilities to be sold. So basically, the market is huge. We saw a great opportunity over there. Our connections and, of course, the needs from the different investors landing in all those countries were required. The challenges were, as you can imagine, take clients to create on them the need of managing more efficiently those big volumes of assets in order to segmentate them, to apply the good priorities and the good strategies in order to be managed efficiently. So basically, what we developed and is now ready and mature, in fact, we are already marketing it and providing and getting international footprint, is to create an operating system that allows the owners of those assets, independently of the site, to manage since the collateral, which is what grants any kind of mortgage or financing related to real estate, final to a closing through a fully end-to-end digitized process. So that has made us to start by, if we on a one-by-one basis create a truly onboarding process by which we were able to certify, to control, to check out all the information about those assets, why not to do this on a massive basis? So basically, we started by creating a fully capable onboarding platform by which will allow to incorporate the massive kind of information. You can do it as well on a one-by-one basis, but especially being able to, since the very beginning, know how this asset has been treated, what this asset requires, what are the new and future needs that this asset is going to be requiring. Why? Because many of these owners, and I would call them institutional investors, relies on external providers. At some point in time, you need to, since changing the key to refurbishing the assets, to getting to legal diligence or going to a notary, depending on the country, and so on. So the onboarding in these points in time is key. Even if the asset really doesn't exist yet because it's still a collateral, they really need to have all this information ready. So we're starting by creating very tailor-made and dedicated onboarding capability. This is through engine workflows that we tailor-made for each and all of our clients. So basically, this is not a fixed model, a rigid one, but depending on the country, depending on your needs, depending on how many external or internal teams we are relying on, we can this be adapted. So basically, everything that I will explain from now on is fully adaptable and tailor-made depending on the needs that you will have. Then, if you think about when you have the asset onboarded or the collateral identified, you need to manage it. You need to work with external providers. You need to provide external providers APIs in order to put the information real time that will allow you to manage SLAs that you have internally or externally. So at some point in time, this really allows to have on top of, let's say, a 10,000 units portfolio to know exactly the different tasks that this asset requires to be shared within the teams in order to don't delay any kind of formal process that needs to take place, any kind of payment, and so on. So there's the boarding and there's the asset management afterwards. Then, of course, you need to assign the portfolios and you need to provide that information to be reported to your client. Because it's great to manage things efficiently, but at some point in time, all the big investors, fishes that are bringing their assets to us to be managed requires different kind of information and reporting. So this property management, again, layer allows them really to be able to just with a click see in which situation their portfolio is. That allows them to take on their investment committees strategic decisions, to do secondary market sales, to prepare big or small portfolios to be managed in one way or another. As you know now, there are critical market conditions that are making some of the investors and the owners to shift from flip to sale to flip to rent because of inflation, because of how the market, the young people are evolving and the work way of doing. So basically this really allows to have a day-to-day monitoring on what could be the right way of managing the assets. Of course, the commercialization now it's very much sophisticated, but as I was mentioning, it was the seed of our main project. Customer experience is key for us and lead management as well. So basically we've created as well an algorithm by which we are doing matchmaking. As you can imagine, we are getting a lot of leads of demand, but we have the product as well and we are operators. So basically we have the three main ingredients in order to do a pure matchmaking of demand and supply. So basically it's super clean, it's easygoing, its customer experience is great. You can get marketability reports in order to understand the neighborhood of where you are buying, because we are not considering this only for, let's say, Greek or Spanish or Italian people, but at some point in time one Spanish guy would like to acquire an asset in Athens and he needs to know White Bola is a great neighborhood or a Kolonaki would be another one. So basically all these customer experiences reflected in our website, and of course the lead management tool. It's amazing because of mainly this algorithm about the matchmaking, but as well, again, if you are an investor that want to create a REIT in Spain, you need to know which are the assets that are subject to be quickly put in commercialization for rent in order to get enough yield to attract then other rounds of financing. These kind of tools are really supporting tactically all these guys. So it's very user-friendly for B2C, but the origin and trend is for B2B in order to generate market as well. This is about the customer experience that I have just mentioned. So, I mean, there are very well predefined timings in order to get back to clients, and even this matching uses as well for the B2C. So sometimes you are calling, the asset has been booked or whatever, or you didn't like it in the moment of the visit, and at some point in time we are able to really online in a very short period of time to offer other kind of assets. We can't do that alone. So basically we've put in the hand of our partners in the field a very nice, easygoing application in order to be sure that the information is transparently onboarded, is transparently checked, and what we are going to publish is really what it is in the field. So basically we are deploying a very good API capacities as well to our partners in the field. This is basically what I was saying. We believe we've been able to put together all what big owners of assets require to comply with their B2C requirements, but as well to be able to generate this layer that covers their need. At this stage, we all know the big softwares that are in the market, but from our point of view, they are working by silos, so at some point in time, you really require a layer that covers everything. So from an operator, we've become now a SaaS provider, an IT enabler. And this is all about Prosperty. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Super fascinating what you guys are trying to achieve. Some questions have come up.
Sure.
What strategies do you follow to market the properties? Do you rely on partners with partnerships with traditional property portals, or do you have other channels?
I mean, this is very much depending on the country in which you are acting. But normally, I mean, everyone wants to sell. So if there's a customer that is an individual, at some point in time you agree for a price, you just publish, you take care of very good quality and so on, and then you manage the lead as faster as possible. As you can imagine, when you're sitting down to develop a commercial strategy with a big fund, you need to look at the IRR, you need to see at the time to sell, and then apply different strategies, right? So they are called to action very much specific, depending on the type of assets and the strategy that the investor wants.
Okay, and then what's the revenue model?
We have two hats here. As we are operators, of course, we are digital brokers, so at some point in time we are charging depending on how the market is structured. In Spain is in one way, Turkey is another, as we have just heard. So basically the hat of operating is just to get a fee of each transaction that has taken place in our platform. Of course, the SaaS model is a classical, upfront payment depending of the difficulty or the tailor-made level, and then a maintenance fee, which is CapEx and OpEx that we all know. So easy going.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Simon.
Great to see you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Super interesting.
Great journey.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.